Recently, I was thinking about the United States and how the United part is so ironic today. It's more like the divided states. And forget about the state part for a moment. This isn't the Civil War, divided states, North versus South. It's people hateful towards other people's differences that causes division and polarization in America. And the problem is hate, not the differences. Think about it. You identify yourself mainly by your appearance and what you believe. And there are people that hold differences in their identity and what they believe from you in this world. So get used to it. Differences in gender, race, class, religion, beliefs, and political views. And I put this one on its own because it can be incredibly divisive. It forms much of what we believe and affects all areas of society. And politics is the root of many problems we face in society. Political polarization causes hate. Let me show you why. Polarization is not a simple disagreement about how to solve problems in society, which is healthy and natural in a democracy. It's more than having a contrasting opinion than someone else about topical issues. Polarization is when you believe that people with differences to you are your enemy. According to Pew Research, 43% of the Republican voters consider the Democrats to be a threat to the nation. 37% of the Democratic voters think the Republicans are the real danger to the country, a huge jump from previous years. According to Public Opinion Quarterly, 1960, 5% Republicans and 4% Democrats were displeased with their child tying the knot with someone of the opposite party. 50 years later, 49% Republicans and 33% Democrats said they would be unhappy. And when people identify with a political party or ideology, it's often all the policies, ideas, and beliefs that come with it. We might be a self-confessed liberal, so I think by default I need to believe and trust every idea from this ideology. It's the same with political parties. I'm a Republican, I trust the party completely. I question if we truly believe everything that political parties say, or it's just easier to identify with one and let them do all the thinking for us. Now, I can understand on many issues you have to make a strong choice. You are either for something or against it, yes or no, or pro this, anti that. But on a broader scale, it doesn't have to be like this on everything. Society has become so black and white about the world, and this is a partisan mindset. You're either for us or against us attitude. And politicians and the Congress is a reflection of society. And there is evidence to suggest political partisan has increased over the past 30 years. And this is described by being more consistent liberal or conservative, a committed member of a political ideology or party. And you can take a test to find this out for yourself on Pew Research. Here you see we have 18 questions that have a liberal or conservative response. And if you go 18-18 on either side, you're considered consistent with that ideology. It doesn't define how extreme, just how many policies or beliefs. And you see, over time, people are becoming more consistent on each side. And we have this big gap in the middle. Often, the stronger you believe, the more reluctant you can be to compromise with political opponents. And that's a huge problem, and we see this with the government and politicians today. Confirmation bias. People want to be right and will favour information that confirms their existing beliefs or bias. Social media and news networks and the internet know this and want to compete for your viewership. They do this by producing news with a bias that you already hold. The media are reporting with the aim of getting clicks and views, not necessarily reporting completely credible information. The lines of fact and opinion are becoming blurred. And this problem becomes even worse on social media through algorithms designed at presenting information to you based on your preferences or previous searches or activity. Similar information to keep you occupied on social media. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, they all do this. People are attracted to those who are similar to themselves, and it is easier than ever before to find these groups online. According to Singer and Brooking, the implication is that groups of people, especially like-minded people, will end up thinking as they did before, but in more extreme forms. We are indeed seeing more extreme forms, with extremist groups fueled by hate towards others, prepared to fight, and this simply produces more hate. On top of this, we have the platform of social media to voice our thoughts and opinions to the world. Social media has created a new environment for conflict. It has transformed the speed, spread, accessibility of information. It's easier than ever before to post misinformation or fake news, and people are more likely to believe it if you hold a strong bias. In groups, we are motivated by acceptance and loyalty to others in the group, especially when the group feels under attack. Over the last 30 years, political disharmony has escalated. My opponent is my enemy mentality, and over the past few elections, spearheaded by social media, the polarization has raged on like war. On the internet, it may be a war of words, but words turn into actions, especially when people feel a sense of injustice, and fair enough, that feeling is justified in some situations. But polarization amplifies this. People mistrust institutions more than ever, questioning the motivations of the government, education, health, military, and others. And this explains the large amounts of protests and civil unrest over the past few years. We would have to go back to the American Civil War to find a time where America was this polarized, and we don't want to go through that again. Going back further, ancient Rome, a large part of the downfall and demise was polarization, civil unrest, and inept leaders. Throughout history, polarization often leads to an outcome of change. However, this always comes at a cost. Let's think for ourselves more, rather than letting the ideology or party do it for us. That means critical thinking, looking at both sides of the situation with an open mind. It's important to have constructive discussions with people that think differently from you. Compromise and agree on facts where we can. Disagreeing with people on the other side because they're the other side is just childish. Discuss with the goal of understanding and learning, not to win a debate. It's a terrible mindset. And this will strengthen why we believe what we believe. Sure, that doesn't mean you have to agree with everything they say, and that's okay. But overall, this is going to produce greater understanding of each other rather than hate. And that can only be a good thing for society. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments if you agree with my thoughts on political polarization, and I'll be looking at every comment. And if you want to get involved within the community, hit the like and subscribe button, and see you next time on the History Nexus.